What Stephanie White just said on a recent interview about Caitlin Clark changes everything. Let's talk. Picture this. You're the hometown hero, the face of a franchise, the name everyone chants in packed arenas. The hype is real, the expectation even bigger. That's the world Caitlin Clark is stepping into, and few people understand that pressure better than Stephanie White, a former standout herself, winning a national championship at Purdue and later excelling as a head coach and analyst. White now leads the Indiana Fever, where she's guiding the team's newest sensation, Clark, through the firestorm of fame.
And you had a heck of a career as a player, right? You go high school into college into the pros, and there's the hype and the expectation, the hometown girl, and you had all the awards. You won a title at Purdue, the most outstanding player in the Final Four. How did you handle the hype expectation train? Because technically you not only met it, but you exceeded it. And somebody even on your team has got a little of that going on too, right? With Caitlin. So how did you deal with it, transition into Caitlin Clark? And do you two talk about that, kind of weave that together?
Yeah, it's I was fortunate to do it at a time where there wasn't social media, right? There wasn't as much, there weren't as many eyes, there wasn't as much, I would say, negativity surrounding a lot of what I was doing at the time. It was growing up in a fishbowl, essentially. And I consider myself a community project. Came from a small town in Indiana. Growing up, I knew I wanted to play college basketball. I was fortunate to be able to have a whole entire community behind me that kind of helped raise me and helped put me in position for success. And, also as a result of that, all eyes are on you. You're always being watched. You're always being critiqued, but at the same time, I think for me, back then it was more supportive, right? It was more lifting you up, and transitioning that to today and what Caitlin's going through. I mean, it's a totally different ballgame. I can help navigate her in a way that most of us, as we grow through life, can help in, like, hey, it's important to protect your peace. You don't have to be on social media. You don't have to engage with all of these things. Be who you are.
Handling the hype, White's advice to Caitlin Clark when asked how she handled the pressure during her playing days, White didn't hesitate. She said, I was lucky. There was no social media back then. Fewer eyes, less negativity. But at the same time, I was growing up in a fishbowl. My whole town supported me, but they were watching my every move. White sees parallels between her journey and Clark's, but acknowledges that today's era is totally different. The scrutiny is relentless. The expectations, even higher. And that's why White is committed to helping Clark navigate it all. Protect your peace, White said. You don't have to be on social media. You don't have to engage with everything. Just keep being who you are. Clark has already shown remarkable composure under the spotlight, but White wants to be a resource, a mentor who can help her star player stay balanced through the highs and the inevitable lows. The Indiana Fever's big year ahead? Well, with the NBA season fast approaching, White is eager to see what the Fever can accomplish. They've made some key moves in free agency, adding veteran leadership around their young core. And that core, it's as dangerous as any in the league. White further said, we've got Caitlin Clark, we've got Kelsey Mitchell, we've got Aaliyah Boston. Now it's about building chemistry, managing rotations, and making sure we stay fresh across all 44 games. As for the WNBA landscape as a whole, White knows the road won't be easy. Las Vegas Aces added Jewel Lloyd to Aja Wilson. New York still has Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu. Minnesota, Nafisha Collier is playing like one of the best in the world. But White is ready for the challenge. She believes in her team and she believes in the game. Women's basketball is here, and it's only getting bigger.
Yeah, I'm really excited about our club. We did really well in free agency, and we addressed some issues that we needed to address. Certainly getting some veteran players who have championship experience and leadership experience that can plug some holes for us where we needed it. I think our ability to stretch the floor, our ability to shoot the three, our ability to play with pace. I mean, we got to surround our big three, with Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston. And we got to surround them with great veteran players that complement them. And I think that we've done that. And the second thing, and I thought this was going to take another year to be able to do that, we've really developed our quality depth. And oftentimes, if you're trying to address two issues in free agency or two issues in an offseason, you only get one, right? And that was free agency and depth for us. And we were fortunate to be able to do both. So I think it puts us in a position to compete. Now, it's our job as coaches to make sure that we can build that chemistry early, to figure out, which players play best with one another, figure out our rotations, what they look like. It's important in our league. We played 44 games this year. We played 40 a year ago, in a short, compact period of time that we got to make sure that we're efficient through 4 quarters and we're efficient through an entire season. So playing players, 36, 37, 38 minutes a ball game isn't to our advantage all the time. And so now being able to build out that quality depth to be able to get our players some quality rest in game is going to be critical for us.
So here are my 5 takeaways from Coach White's interview. Number 1, strengthening the core around Clark, Mitchell, and Boston. The Fever's big three consist of Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston. The team's off-season focus was adding veteran leadership and championship experience to complement these stars. Number 2, upgrading depth and versatility. If you watched the Fever last year, you know how important this was. So in free agency, they helped fill gaps, including adding shooters and players who can stretch the floor to complement Clark's playmaking. The Fever upgraded their bench, which was a major concern last season. You could see in some tough games that was so close, the bench was their Achilles heel. Well, they now have more quality depth to sustain high-level play throughout a grueling 44-game season that's up ahead. Number 3, playing with pace and efficiency. White emphasized playing at a faster tempo to take advantage of Clark's transition game and passing ability. 3-point shooting was also a priority to space the floor better around Aaliyah Boston in the post. Number 4, load management and rotations. Last season, the Fever relied heavily on starters, sometimes playing them 36 to 38 minutes per game. With better depth, White wants to balance minutes to keep players fresh and maintain efficiency across all 4 quarters and the entire season. Number 5, WNBA landscape and competition. Las Vegas Aces remains a contender with the addition of Jewel Lloyd. New York Liberty still have Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, Jonquel Jones, and they will still be a major contender. Minnesota Lynx, well, they kept their core intact with Nafisa Collier playing at an elite level. Now, the wild card, Los Angeles Sparks. With the addition of Kelsey Plum joining their young front court, the final outlook for the Fever. If Indiana can build chemistry quickly, they have the tools to compete for a playoff spot and the championship. Their success will depend on 3 key things: how well the new pieces mesh together, Clark's ability to adjust to the new roster, and of course, with everything, staying healthy throughout the season. White believes the team is in a much better position than last year and could surprise people if things come together. And this seems to be the overall sentiment and belief across Fever Nation. Overall, it's a big step forward for the Fever. And with Caitlin Clark leading the way, this season is set to be one of the most anticipated in franchise and WNBA history. White understands the unique pressure Caitlin Clark is under, but social media has amplified it to a whole new level. Women's basketball isn't just growing, it's thriving thanks to Caitlin Clark, faster gameplay, and increased visibility. The Fever aren't just about Caitlin Clark anymore. You have to play and plan for the whole team. They've strategically built a team around her strengths. So, Fever Nation, what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more content like this. Until next time, keep balling.